Welcome to the next episode of Woodward's Watercolors, and today I was out shopping in TK Maxx or TJ Maxx if you're in America, and I found something with a little red sticker. These were $14.99 down to £8. They are the 6 Goldfaber Aqua pens, and they are, whenever you add water to them, then they act like watercolors, and they're really very interesting. I've just had a little go earlier with my son, but I want to show you what these can do and really experiment myself and see what they're like. So come with me while we try out the 6 Goldfaber Aqua pens. Come on, let's have a look at them. So here's the box all opened. As you can see, these are dual markers, and this must be the Tuscany range of different colors. The end that is the shorter cap end with this ridge around it is the thinner end pen, and almost like a fine liner, and then you've got really the brush pen end on the other side. Also, it comes with this lovely, really well printed little just brochure about different colors that Faber Castell have, and just adds, I think, to the quality of the product. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to just show you the pen, show you the line, and let's do that for each of them. These are the kind of colors that I absolutely love to draw in, so that's what attracted me to this little set, because I thought I can actually use this. This is my kind of tonal range, so I'm pretty excited to get exploring with these colors, because I only had a very brief go with one of these colors earlier, so I'm really interested to see what they're all going to actually be like. So that's a nice, obviously like a sky tone. And then we've got a green. Now the green for me is quite, I tried this one earlier and it is quite, it's like a viridian, I think, probably, kind of a tone. So it's a little bit kind of vivid and kind of strong for my liking. But I thought, you know, let's just give this a go and see what this comes out like. Okay, so that's them on the page. I'm going to grab my water pot, and I'm going to use a little bit of a thinner flat edge brush. This is a number 10 in the sea white. Okay, let me see, just grab a little bit of the water and let's just see what happens. Okay, so we've got a bit of pigment release there. Now, a little bit of agitating. It's not like the Derwent Inktense pencils. You can see there with that darker one, there's a little bit more of a, I have to do there is a bit of a tap off the colors, which is something that's always important to me. Needs a little bit of agitation. So obviously whenever I'm drawing with this, I'm going to be conscious that the line is still going to be visible. See the tap with this? Yeah, it's okay. And also with this blue, let me see. So we would need quite a lot of that on the page to be able to drag it off and move it around. Because what I do with the Inktense pencils is I'll take some of that and then deposit it in other spaces. So I would need to have quite a lot of it there. Now I would imagine with this color, if I do the tap test on it, yeah, you're going to see quite a bit of it there. And then with this one, using the corner of the flat edge, no, it's not coming away that easy. And then we've got this, what are they classing this one as? Venetian red. Yeah, and there's a bit of a tap off it. And that's coming away quite nicely. Okay, so there's the initial test. Now let's get to drawing our scene together. Okay, so you'll find the image in the community section, the reference image in the community section of the channel. And this is a scene as I was coming into land in Bristol Airport when I was away last week with Toby, Mr. Sketchless. And I'm just going to start right in here and see what I can do. So this is a view from the plane, and just as we were coming in down into the runway, and want to try and capture some of the landscape. Now it was that kind of a patchwork quilt idea. So lots of hedgerows. There were some houses. And really, after doing that little tester, it's going to show me a little bit of the way to maybe work with these. There's a field. trying to get that into some measure of perspective. And then we have different areas of lots of trees and all sorts of things going on there. So I just want to try and get the bare bones down. I'm using the green here, the finer end, to try and find some of the shapes. Now that's a lake in there. And then as we come forwards, they look like little buds, the trees, as you can tell from the sky, how things look so much different. It's just, I can always tell in these videos when I'm concentrating, because I can always go kind of quiet. Got some of these areas here in these rolling fields, and then some of the bushes and trees and things like that, and you know, making like they look like they sort of pop out against some of those different areas. So what I'm going to do now is switch to the darker end of this, or not the darker end, the more brush end. I want to get in more pigment so that obviously I can drag that across into different areas, because that was quite important from the tester, that I need to really kind of lay that down in some areas. Okay, and I don't know, I really should see if I can experiment with mixing some of these colors as well, to see how we can get on, if that's actually a possibility and if that's something we can do. Now, I can really use that brush to my advantage, because there are areas where some of these wee trees and things are sitting up that little bit more. So we've got some areas here where the trees are sitting up again across here, and then areas that are kind of fuller with those trees. So we're just gonna dot some of those around here, and then many more over here. Okay, so let's hang that one up for the minute. Okay, let's look to the sky. So we're going for the big brush in the sky. There's that big strong line, and then another little bit of cloud kind of poking through. So I don't have any black or any greys, so I'm obviously going to be quite limited as to what I can produce in regard to the sky. But we have got these areas of water here, and this big long area across there. So if you can see where the lines are touching together there, they're not seeping in together. And I was going to use the finer end of that, but what I'm going to do is, so that's distinguishing where the water is, and then we've got some of these lighter bits of the grass, and I'm not sure how this is going to come out, but we'll see how we go. And they're obviously going to mix together a little bit. There's more houses and things in there, but we will add, there's just little pockets of grass. Goodness, that could even be a golf course there in the distance. And that field there is much looks like it's been ploughed. So we'll leave that for those darker tones. And then with this one here, we'll just fill those in there. Okay, so this is going to be interesting to see how this all works together, because we're using a very limited color palette, the Tuscany range. I think what we'll go to next is this. Now that's really quite dark, so when I need to try and find a way to moderate that a little bit, I wonder actually, would there be merit in if I add this underneath, we're going to experiment just this little area here with the blue, and then I'm going to add in that, now what do they call this color? This is green ochre. Vibrant, very nice. So that is going to add in a different tone again. So let's do that again over here to model that. And so this is really effectively layering these colors up. So that is, get these names right, that's sky blue pastel, and this is green ochre. And you see that's given me a little bit of differentiation in the green. Okay, so the other thing is there are just a few little houses and things. They're done across there. Now we're quite high up here, so want to try and represent as best I can just with a couple of little lines. And let's go with that method we were using before there with that blue. And just adding that in onto the white primarily, and then putting that ochre on top. That's quite interesting, isn't it? And it really is layering up quite nicely. You can see all of the differences happening there. Now, I wonder what happens then if I go over it. So there's a really quite strong horizon line. So I'm just going to let these, see what that's like when I add that line on top. So that's nearly starting to agitate the fibers in the paper a little bit. So actually I'm making that extra layer on top of the green layer that I have already. Let me see. And then there's just a little hedgerow line coming across there. Now, the other thing that I want to try is this really, really rich. This is burnt sienna. So just, there is a little bit of field across here. So that's much, much darker across there. And it's surrounded by some trees. So just going to see how this goes. And there's more of these hedges are coming all the way around. So I'm going to hold that brush down, the brush pen a little bit down flatter to kind of get that impression of these trees surrounding it. And then the other thing that I'm going to do is just do that blue sky underneath, pastel blue sky color underneath. It's very interesting the way it's not causing the colors that are down there to bleed in any way. I find that fascinating. And then add in that ochre on top for that lighter green. Feels like a golf course kind of a green together, and then just moving that across here and here. Okay, so the moment of truth when we add some water into this. Now what I want to do is I'm not going to use a flat edge brush this time. I'm actually going to take my trusty pointed wash. This is doesn't even say what size this is. This is one's from Sostrene Grene. So I'm going to take loads of the water. Now this is on watercolor paper. It is 190 GSM, so quite thick. I've been doing a lot of the demos on this color. Now it has touched on that green, and you can see there that it has started to bleed. I'm not a major fan of bleeding, but hey ho, there we go with this one. And let's just see how this works together. So this is the first time for me doing this with a scene. So yeah, oh goodness, it's releasing the pigment now. So just working some of this in together. Let's see how this interacts. So just trying not to agitate all of the trees and bushes and things there. I do want to touch on this. See how this goes and bring a little bit of that into this area here. I'm going to tap down. Goodness me, that really is lifting that ink there. So we are actually, this is moving into much more of a abstract scene the more that we add the water on. So it really is mixing all in together. So that is something that I'm going to duly note about this. And I'm a little bit reluctant to go near these ones down below because I don't really want them all to flow in together. Anytime the water is going anywhere near it, it feels like it is quite wildly dispersing everywhere. And let's see how it goes with an area with that mixed kind of green. So I'm quite a little bit unhappy about the way that this has just exploded up, but I am pleased with how the sky really is looking quite nicely like a sky. I want to agitate this little bit of pigment down here. Now obviously what it's going to do is begin to touch it, and there's not much lift off that now. So on the lighter colours the lift is really quite poor, but in the darker ones it's given that good bit more. So let me just touch on these here, bringing it like a little bit of modelling to these across there in this section here. Very, very interesting. So let me lift this up a little bit closer to you so that you can see. It has kind of really sort of a bit smooshed in together, and I'm not too sure how I feel about it, but I mean the colours are absolutely vibrant, and there we go. There we go. So let me have a little think for a second or two, and then I will give you my thoughts. Well, now, wasn't that interesting? So it was very interesting to me that because I had made that little mistake where I had drawn the line of the water over the sky and just touched that part of the tree that I was trying to represent in that dark, really vivid and strong green, it just kind of cauliflowered and mushroomed up into it, which is a bit frustrating because I do like to try and keep things tighter together. But even as I was going along, I felt like I was learning how these pigments in the pens are actually working. And what we've ended up with is quite an abstracted view as we were coming into Bristol Airport there of all of those beautiful fields. So very interesting. I am learning as I go with these. I was looking up because I'm considering, do I like them? I think I do like them. I think I would need to work with them more. It would be good to have some grey or some black or some richer blues, or, you know, be able to mix the colours and layer them up a little bit more. Very interesting. So I'll need to have a go with those again. Anyhow, I hope that you find that interesting, especially that it's a product that I do not know well. And they are the Faber Castell Goldfaber Aqua pens, a pack of 6, and they were the Tuscany range. So really very interesting. So I'm interested to read your comments below and your thoughts about them, whether you've used them before, whether after this demo you'd like to have a go with them. If you'd like to see my online portfolio, you can go to www.woodwardswatercolors.co.uk, and there's also a link there to my Etsy store if you want to have a further look around. And thanks very much for watching. That was an interesting one. That's me for now. Bye for now, everybody, and see you soon. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.